everyone! So I am here today with a packing video, and this is going to be what I packed for my 2-week trip to Japan. I am in Japan right now, Osaka to be exact, and we've been here for about a week now, so half the trip. And so far I've worn probably half of the items that I brought, so it's been going very well, although it's a little bit colder than I expected. This video is going to be a few packing tips along with exactly what I brought to Japan, and let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start off with the packing tips, and I'm going to go through these rather quickly because I think a lot of them are common sense and they are probably things that you already think about and already do. So the first packing tip I have for you really revolves planning ahead. So depending on the location you're going to, what you pack is going to be very different. So for example, what I bring with me to a beach vacation, like if I'm going to the Dominican Republic or maybe to Cuba or even Hawaii, that would be very different from what I would bring for a 2-week trip to, say, Paris or to Japan in this instance. What you pack is going to be very different for different types of vacations. So the next thing I like to do is a little bit of research. I like to check the temperature that it's going to be at a certain destination. So at the beginning when I book the trip, I like to look at the records and averages, what the average temperature has been over the last X number of years. So I have an idea of what the temperature will be like when I go on vacation. I also like to check the precipitation. So how much rain do they typically get in the month of November? I check the records and averages when I book the trip and leading up to the trip, and then 2 weeks before the vacation I check the actual forecast. And of course things do change, so I actually check up to the day before I leave and I tweak my packing the day before I go. The other thing I like to do is get a sense of the local customs. For example, in Japan, tattoos can be taboo because they're associated with the Yakuza. So there were a couple of pieces that I wanted to bring, but when I tried them on, my tattoo was a little bit too obvious, but I didn't want to offend anyone or stand out in that way, so I decided to remove those pieces from my luggage and replace them with other pieces. The last thing I like to do when I do my research is look at fashion and beauty trends for that area that we're going to. So in Tokyo and Osaka, I didn't really notice anything particular. I know the women love to wear tights, everything's very cute, there's a lot of layering, the makeup is very fresh and beautiful. They tend to go for a lighter look, but I like a more bronzy look, so I just went with the bronzy look that I always go for. And of course, long lashes are a big thing here. So I basically took all of that information and I kind of structured my packing a little bit around that, but of course everything I packed is still my style per se. Now let's move on to the clothing. So in terms of clothing, my general rule of thumb is to bring enough bottoms for basically half the trip. So for this trip we're in Japan for 14 days and I essentially brought around 6 or 7-ish bottoms. So that includes pants, skirts, tights, basically anything that I would wear on a standalone basis on my bottom half. In terms of my tops, I do like to go a little bit more. I like to have a few more options. So I generally bring enough tops that I would be able to change every single day. So I would bring around 14 tops for a 2-week vacation. I know 14 tops sounds like a lot, but that includes tank tops, short sleeve shirts, long sleeve shirts, and sweaters. But it doesn't include any cover-ups like cardigans and the like. So on top of the tops and the bottoms, I also like to bring a few other pieces. I like to bring a lot of cardigans or cover-ups because I like to layer, especially when the temperature is like a fall-like temperature. I did bring around 4 to 5 cardigans. I also brought 2 scarves. I brought 1 dress. I'll usually try to pack 1 or 2 dresses. Now speaking of mixing and matching, I like to try to make sure that my tops and bottoms can mix and match really nicely. So my general rule of thumb in this area is that every top should be able to go with at least 2 bottoms. My last tip in terms of clothing is to try every single item on, even if you kind of know how it fits or you wear it all the time. So there were a few things that I thought I was definitely going to bring on this trip, but once I tried them on, they either didn't look right or I couldn't mix and match them as well as I thought I could. So they were actually replaced with other pieces. And I should mention that the top that I'm wearing and also the bottoms I purchased on this trip. So everything I'm about to show you is what I packed in my suitcase or what I wore at the airport. So I brought 6 bottoms with me on this trip. I brought 2 pairs of jeans, I brought 2 skirts, and finally I brought a pair of tights and also a pair of black linen pants. So here are the tops that I brought. In total, I brought 11 tops, and I went a little bit lower this time because I brought a lot of cardigans and I also plan to do some shopping on this trip. So on the left are 4 sleeveless tops. On the right, there are 3 short sleeve tops. With these 2 piles, on the left are 3 long sleeve tops, and then on the right is 1 sweater. Finally, here are the extras that I brought. To the left are 5 cardigans. I also brought 2 scarves at the top there. I brought 1 dress. I brought my blue oversized trench coat. I brought a few items for sleepwear, but not many because sometimes I just wear the robe from the hotel to bed. I brought a bathing suit, and I also brought this long sleeve top that you can wear in the water in case the pools didn't allow tattoos. I thought I could throw that on and still go for a swim, although I haven't gone swimming yet because I've just been too tired. And then to the right is a little bag. This is just a cloth baggie that has my undergarments in it. Finally, here are the last items that I pack in my suitcase. I'm going to go from right to left. The first item is just a bag filled with skincare. I put a nail polish in there, some tweezers, a razor, all of that good stuff. Then I have a Kiehl's bag that has some of my makeup and more skincare products in it. I also have a couple of fragrances in there. Next up, I have a brush roll, and I just keep all of my makeup brushes in there. The little Sephora bag houses my dry shampoo, my brush, a hairband, some hair elastics, and bobby pins. Next up, in this little baggie here, I have my curling wand. In the pink and purple bag, I have 3 necklaces. All 3 are by HRH Collection, but I haven't worn them yet, so I'm gonna have to bust them out pretty soon. I brought an extra pair of Crocs. I wore a pair and I packed a pair just in case. I brought an umbrella. I brought 2 packets of Kleenex, a packet of mints, and 2 packets of gum, and I also brought a lint brush, and that is basically it. So that is basically it for how I packed my luggage. I actually planned to wear more items on the plane, but I needed some padding, so I put the trench coat and the big grandpa sweater in my luggage to add some padding and to take up some more room in the suitcase. So if I wore the sweater and the trench coat, my suitcase would only be about half full, and it hasn't expanded or anything like that yet, so there's still a ton of room for other stuff if we decide to go shopping, which we have done some shopping. So that is basically it for what I brought to Japan. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you real soon. Bye!